Good morning, dear students. Today we will learn about the behavior patterns of adolescence. One of the first signs of the early adolescence is the appearance of reflectivity or the tendency or to think about what is going on one's own mind and to study oneself. Adolescents begin to look more closely at themselves and to define themselves differently. They seem to realize that there are differences between what they think and feel and how they behave. They are also prone to the distinct with themselves. Financially, examine their personal characteristics, compare themselves to others, and try to change the way they are. Adolescents may be found whether other people see and think about the world and the way how they themselves do. They become more aware of their distinctiveness and uniqueness from other people. They learn that other people cannot know fully about what they think and feel. The issue of who and what really determines their personality development. Motivation aspects of adolescence. Adolescents in experiments and remain reliable if they successfully find their own identity. By trying out various ways and they are testing and modifying them. And they can pick those characteristics that are most comfortable and drop to others. To do this, the adolescents must have self-confidence to vary behavior through experiment and to drop characteristics and do not fit. Even if the characteristics are supported by others, it helps to have a stable and accepting of parents, teachers, and peers who will respond to the adolescent learner experimentation in search of the identity. Motivation is the heart of the learning process. It generates the will in an individual to do something. Adequate motivation not only changes the students in the activity which results in learning him, also sustains the directs the learning. Adolescents have the distractions in common that the goal and the purpose of learning clearly perceived by the individual provide strong motivation for their action and learning. In adolescence, boys and girls have variety of interest. With the development of intellectual and social growth, their field of interest considerably expand. They start taking interest in international and national affairs. They discuss problems the nation focuses or society from different angles. Aspirations levels of adolescence. Aspiration is affected by a number of variables in home, school, and society. Home plays an important role in the early training of children for the development of attitudes and motives. Personal expectations and guidance to the adolescent development need to the high achievement in life. The society and its philosophy is an important variable in developing achievement motive. But the influence the school and the teacher can have the students in developing the school factors contribute much for the development. During the adolescent stage, the aspiration level is high. It is based on the individual's perception on his own ability and the past experience of the adolescence. The family and the school factors contributes much of the achievements of the aspiration. Attitude and development of self-concept. An attitude is relatively stable and ending predisposition to behave in a certain way towards person, objectives, and institution. Therefore, there are tendencies to respond to people, institution, or events either positively or negatively. An attitude is one kind of anticipatory response, but not all anticipatory responses are attitudes. As the person develops an interest with the environment or begins to differentiate and interacts with the environment, he or she begins to differentiate between the environment and the self. Self-confidence as the way person perceives unknown self, especially conceiving the fundamental aspects that every important and control himself which are involved in a great deal of behavior. The child's concept of self is influenced by a great active factors: his parents' social status, their attitude, values, standards of behavior, and moral and ethical belief. In adolescent stage, the development of the self is influenced by various external factors like pressure, parental expectation, and his own will and determination. The purpose of education is to develop the self. The deal self begins when the child identifies with the parental figure. During middle childhood, the early adolescence, it moves through the stage of inculcations of values, implications of development changes for learning and curriculum. Adolescence is a period of growth, independence, and self definition, during which the person begins to form an adult identity. Physical growth and development refers in this period, which brings bonding and physiological changes, internal as well as external. Physical development influences the total makeup of individuals and the needs a very careful attention. It can help the teachers to achieve one of the most important aims of educational process, to bring out the counsel balanced development in the personality of the adolescents. Adolescence is a period of maximum growth and development with regard to mental functioning. Intelligence reaches during the period. Intellectual powers, the logical and abstract legal reasoning are almost developed in the end of the period. Adolescence learns to reason and seek answer to how, why they everything scientifically. This power of critical thinking and observation is much developed. He develops a time imagination. Writers, artists, poets, philosophers, and inventors are all born in the period. Improper channelization of imagination of disqualified would be designed in such a way adolescence originally in thinking should be encouraged. Emotional development reaches its maximum during adolescence. It is a period of heightening of all emotions like anxiety, fear, love, etc. Once again, like an infant, an individual experiences emotionally instability and intensity during adolescence. The emotions fluctuate very frequently and usefully. Self-consciousness, self-respect, and personal pride is too much increased. Emotional stability and maturity is the need of adolescents. They should realize that to perceive their emotion, to integrate it in thought, understand and to manage it. Adolescence is the period of increased social relationship and contacts. The social circle of the adolescent very wide. Peer group relationship controls the social behavior of the stage. The adolescent develops a strong sense of loyalty towards group. He wants to be accepted by the group of which he is the mentor. The rejection is costly and it creates so many adjustment problems. The formation of strong sentiments during the period of identifies the process of moral development. The needs of adolescents have to be satisfied and their problems ought to be realized to the proper way in order to help them in growing and developing properly. Sex information and education for adolescents are included in the curriculum so that they can get scientific information about their questions in their mind. In the adolescents, there is craving for recognition and they also try to maintain their self-prestige and status among their peers. Therefore, the teachers as well as the parents should stop teaching the adolescents and children and give them due cognition. Lack of guidance creates milestones, indefinite, and the adolescents have the problems which need careful attention and problem solution. The adolescents are the crossroads of life. Therefore, it is the utmost duty of the society and the school to provide proper guidance to the students as well as to the parents. Cognitive development. The human behavior is born with a few practical instincts and reflexes such as sucking, reaching, grasping. Therefore, the intellectual cognitive structure of infant is supposed to incorporate only these cognitive abilities of the potentials which help them to do such acts such as looks, reach out of the grasp. Discussion on cognitive development will help to understand children's comprehension, underlying mechanism, and modes to facilitate the development of cognition. Similarly, the language development of children will acquaint you will specific nature and characteristics of language span of attention, sensation and perception, and concept formation. We discuss the implication of cognitive development for teachers so that they facilitate cognitive development of the students. Thank you.